Hey, welcome back. So today we're going to replace a Serpentine belt. We have this belt here from Toyota 99367-K1550. It is a genuine Toyota belt. Looks like made by Bando. And I got it at the local Lexus dealer. Paid a bit too much. $47.99 list plus tax. 52 bucks, a little too high in my opinion. It's a Toyota belt. I probably could have gone to Toyota and got it for like $35, but it is what it is. So we have a 2006 IS350, Lexus IS350, and we're going to install the belt down there. So I'll show you how to do it. Pretty simple. So we're going to start out by removing this front cover. Just pry these little plastic clips up gently. Pry them up a 1/4 inch or so, and then they should remove. That's all it is. A little clip like that. Okay, so we took out 11 clips. There we go. I think I'll take this off too. Give a little more room. Okay, here's what we are looking at. This is the tensioner, and this is an idler pulley. This is the alternator. This is the air conditioner, and that's the crank. You can see the timing mark, and that is the water pump. So I'll draw a diagram on paper to show you how the belt goes around all of that. Okay, here's our 11 pieces we pulled out. So here's the route the belt goes around: the crank, the AC, the alternator, under the idler, water pump, and then tensioner. So we're just going to put a wrench on that tensioner, loosen it, pull the belt off. A standard size 14 millimeter. The camera down in there so you can see what I'm doing. Some good light for you. There we go. So I lifted this, pulled this direction, and I already slipped the belt off the alternator. And get the wrench out of the way now. There we go. Tight fit between the water pump and the crank pulley. There we go. So there's our whole belt. That was easy to get off. So this belt has 59,653,000 miles. So almost 60,000 miles. It is, let's see, it is 16 years old. Original belt. The markings have worn off because the idler pulley and the tensioner run on the back side. The belt feels a wee bit dry, but it's not a lot of cracks or anything in it. Really surprising. This belt lasted a long time. The texture of the rubber feels a little bit dry, but other than that, okay. So I think that old belt is going to go in the trunk of the car with the spare tire to save as a spare for road trips, just in case, because it's still a functioning belt. So let's put the new belt down in there. Put it around everything except for, I guess the alternator will be last, and I'll get my tensioner up and then loop it over the alternator. So as you work the belt around, you'll see there's 6 grooves. You want to make sure the belt lines up in each one of those grooves on each pulley that has grooves before you let go of the tensioner. Make sure the belt's on evenly across each pulley. Hold up on the wrench. Actually cheated and used a piece of rope to hold my wrench up. And so I'm holding the wrench up, and then I can just push it a little more as I need to work this belt on. I've got it most of the way on the, get some better light for you, got it most of the way over the alternator and underneath the idler. Just got to push it a little more, push up on the wrench and push it on for the final amount here. Unfortunately, I can't film while I'm doing this because it's such a tight fit, but that's how I'm doing it. Okay, so I've got the belt on, and I checked the air conditioner pulley, that it's on the ribs. I checked the crank, it's on the ribs. I checked the water pump, it's on the ribs, and the alternator's on the ribs. So there's 4 pulleys that have ribs, and then of course the idler and the tensioner is just on the back flat side of the belt. So use your hands, get in there and feel it, make sure it's seated properly before you start the car, and I'll show you on my chart real quick. So on this chart there's ribs on here, ribs on here, ribs on here, ribs on here, and flat on these 2 for the back side of the belt. So just make sure the ribs are seated on these 4 before you take the tensioner off. You know, loosen your wrench on the tensioner. Okay, so let's take the rope off this and let the tension off. Take our wrench off. Take our little helper rope off. And once again, I'm going to put my hand and feel those 4 pulleys that have ribs. Make sure the ribs are aligned before I start the engine. Cover back on. I'm going to start the engine, see if there's any weird sounds. There should not be. Okay, that all sounds good, all looks good. Let's put the covers back on. Okay, put the covers back on here. And our 11 little plastic rivets. Stick it in the hole, push it down with your thumb. Okay, got the 11 plastic rivets in. Put this cover back on. There we go. That's all there is to that. Now we got a new belt on. Yeah, let's check to make sure there's no dash lights on. Of course, the hood is open, we know that. And seat belt's not on, we know that. We're parked in the garage. 59,653, and that's a job well done. So here's the only tools I really needed for the job. 14mm box wrench, small screwdriver, flathead, and a little bit of rope. That's really all you need to change a Serpentine belt on a Lexus IS350. If you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, please give me a like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps the YouTube algorithm.